Hello friends, it's Willow Star here, coming to reintroduce myself. I know some of you might not know my story all the way, and so I'm just going to share it here to bring a little update. I am 56 years old, and at 46, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I lived in San Francisco. I had been married for 25 years. I had 2 children who were about 19 and 20 at my diagnosis. And my life, like on the outside, I would say most people would be like, wow, what a great life, what a great family. You know, you're doing all the things, living the American dream in many ways. And yet on the inside, I was like crumbling. It was this sense of like, there's like a level of numbness and disconnection from myself that created this like facade that like, hey, my life is great. But on the inside, like I was raging, I was screaming, I was, constantly reactive to my family, really overburdened, overworked, not in alignment, not really in my joy and my purpose. And I wanted to die. I would pray that a car would run into me after I dropped off my kids at high school, so I just didn't have to deal with life anymore. And then I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I had been very aware of the chance of cancer coming to me from what I had understood in my life around family genetics. Most people in my family, especially the women, had had cancer. My mother had had primary peritoneal cancer, which is an incredibly deadly cancer that now we know like the average lifespan is 11 months, and she's alive 25 years later. The women in my family, breast cancer was a thing. So I grew up being like, oh, cancer is coming to me. Like I'm going to get cancer. So that mindset, not helpful. And so I was getting mammograms starting in my mid 30s every single year. I am like, doing everything they said. I was on birth control. Oh, this can help prevent cancer. I very much was aware that cancer could come into my life. And I was not well. To be honest, I thought I was eating pretty healthy. I thought that my lifestyle was a healthy lifestyle. I ate everything. Like if something seemed healthy, I was like, no, I want like the full, all the things. And yet I did want a healthy lifestyle. I did, care about how much sugar we were eating, and I cooked most of our food from home. But I didn't really know about organics too much. I was just starting to get into those things, meat and eggs and milk and things like that. But really making fun of things like, oh, organic wine, that's ridiculous. Whereas like grapes are one of the most pesticide-ridden, crops out there. And if I were drinking wine, I would absolutely want organic wine now. So my lifestyle and everything, like I said, I think most people would have looked at me and thought we had a great family and that we were a healthy family. And then I was having test after test. They couldn't understand why my blood was I had like crazy, they thought I had rheumatoid arthritis. I had all this inflammation in my body. And then they said, oh, you don't have rheumatoid arthritis. And he gives me a pill and he's like, here you go, you're going to be fine. So I start taking the pill back in the day. And I felt better. So I was like, great. Well, it turned out that was prescription strength Motrin. So yes, it did take away my joint pain, but it did not take away the problem. And in November of 2015, I had a mammogram, my yearly test, and they were like, you're fine. All this stuff, I keep getting tests. I don't feel well. My liver's acting weird. And my GP was like, this is not normal. Like, you need to keep getting this tested. So I just kept like moving around. And then the next thing you know, I am driving to pick up my kid late at night, and I'm in my pajama top and I don't have on my bra. And I'm noticing that there's all these people around my car. So I kind of just like grabbed on and was like covering my breast just so I wasn't feeling exposed without a bra on. And I felt a lump. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like what I felt at the doctor's office when they have you check to see if it feels like cancer. And I was in the middle of trying to leave my marriage. I was on my way to, my friends were taking me basically for an intervention to Austin, Texas, to be like, you've got to figure out your life. Like, you can't keep living like this. I was in a puddle all weekend, and I was like, I'm leaving my marriage. I have to do things differently. I'm starting a new life. And I called the doctors when I got to Austin, because I literally felt it the night before I was leaving at like 5 a.m. And I called them and they said, all right, we've got an appointment on Friday. And I'm literally like going from the airport directly to the hospital. 6 hours later, I'm sitting there being like, wow, okay, this doesn't seem good. The way the nurses are looking at me, if you've been down this road with getting a cancer diagnosis, there's just a feeling. And all of a sudden it's like late, it's like 6 or 7, and all the doctors are still there. And the nurses keep saying, oh, we're sorry, you know, and they're like, we're not going to leave you, don't worry. And it was really a shift for me, because I was like, this is not going to be okay. Like, I feel that. And a few days later, I was in our therapy with me and my ex-husband, and I was like, I know that this is cancer. And I said, we need to be done and do something differently. And he was like, no, we need to stay together. And I was like, no, we need to do things differently. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, we need more testing. We need to check your brain, and we need to check your liver. And I was like, okay, weird. They wouldn't tell me over the phone those results. They told me I had cancer over the phone. So I was like, this doesn't feel good. I finally said, you're going to see me today. You're going to see me tonight. It's Friday. I'm not waiting the weekend. You're either going to tell me over the phone or I'm going to come in. They said, you can come in. So I went in, never seen this woman before, some random oncologist at a hospital that, you know, that wasn't where I was getting my primary care. And within 2 minutes of sitting down, she says, it's not what we hoped for. It's stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And I was like, what does that mean? And she said, literally, that means that this cancer will take your life. This is 2 minutes of me sitting in this doctor's office that I've never met before. She's letting me know that this cancer will take my life. And I was like, she doesn't know me. I was just like rejecting it instantly. I kept just saying, I have faith I'm going to be okay. I have faith I'm going to be okay. And we sat there for 20 minutes, and I have the recording. I listen to it often, and it's wild to me, the things that she said that are just like so unprofessional, and to me so neglectful, to tell somebody that, oh, they have, you know, most people live 2 years, and, you know, go get your life in order and get on disability. And I'm like, I feel fine. Like, what is this about? And she said, I'd, you know, recommend getting some second opinions. And I was like, I'm definitely not coming back here again. So I left. I was in a pepper spray bubble for 2 days where everything just felt like hot and spiky, and everything was like, womp, womp, womp. I couldn't hear anybody. I would like see people walking across the street, and I'm like, oh, they're not going to die tomorrow. Oh, they're fine. They're happy. They've got a healthy family. And after 2 days of that, I was like, this doesn't feel like me. And I was like, I'm going to see the positive. I'm going to make this like a reason, a permission slip to live my life and to do things on my terms. I told the family, and they were devastated. It was one of the hardest experiences of my life, and feeling like I had to stay strong for them. And I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to live. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to do things my way. And cancer saved my life. Like, literally, it was the permission slip to live the life that I knew I was supposed to live, and that was my life, and not a life that somebody else chose for me. I was yeah, just following the matrix. I was just doing what everybody else said to do. Like, oh, you go to college and you get married and you have children and, and you work until you're in your 60s and then you retire and then you die, you buy the house, all that stuff. And it's just like, that wasn't who I was, I was married to a very Taurian man who was very in his routines and very settled and not spontaneous. And, and I know I was attracted to him because of a lot of that. But then I'm like, I'm an adventurous, wild, intimate, raw, witch. I'm here to do different things. And so, yeah, it was not easy, guys. Like, we lived together for 3 years after being separated in the same house. He lived downstairs, I lived upstairs. We shared kitchen spaces, and it was not easy, like not easy. We both were very messy and like children, in our mid 40s, like just being like, what are we doing? We've never lived this way. And it was hard on my whole family. I started high dosing cannabis within 1 week of my diagnosis. I was following with a medical doctor she was an RN who was deep in the cannabis world, and cannabis was my nemesis. I hated it. It was everything bad in my life revolved around cannabis, starting from in high school. And something clicked and it was like, this is your medicine. And I went hardcore, taking up to 65 milligrams a day of THC, over 200 milligrams of CBD every day. I did that for 1.5 years until all my tumors were gone. And once they were gone, then I went on to a maintenance dose, and I am on that still and will be on that the rest of my life. I had 2.5 months before getting into the oncologist that everybody recommended at UCSF. They're like, she's the researcher, she knows everything, she's not taking new clients, but we can get you in. Like 6 friends wrote to her. So I had 2.5 months waiting to get in. So I left my marriage, I started high dosing cannabis, I stopped sugar, I went very raw vegan in the beginning. Really didn't know what to eat, and I'm making lots of videos on that because that was a very hard thing for me. I literally lost 50 pounds in 6 weeks, not from the cancer, but from stopping alcohol and sugar and all the carbs and everything, just eating a healthy diet. So people thought like, holy shit, she's dying. She looks like a cancer patient, but I'm like, I'm not even on treatment. I'm just doing my own detox. I started doing the Rife machine, which a dear friend, I call her my dragon witch. She had a machine and she put me on the Rife every day. I was detoxing. All I was doing was eliminating. I started taking supplements, high dosing, mushrooms, chaga, turkey tail reishi, lion's mane, maitake, shiitake. I started doing different supplements, checked my B vitamins, my D I was deficient, magnesium, iron, really getting myself healthy, really working on my immunity, cutting out all the negativity in my life, just the relationships. I was like friends just falling left and right. And I just started feeling better. So 2.5 months in, I get to go to this oncologist, and I remember sitting there with her, and she's writing down, okay, you're going to start, we want to keep you comfortable. We don't know that we're not like the tumors probably won't shrink. We just don't want them to grow or multiply. So she said, we want to keep you comfortable. And because of the way I'd been having joint pain, which was from the sugar and everything, it wasn't from cancer, she chose a very specific protocol for me, which at the time was really, really experimental. Ibrance, which is a targeted chemo pill with barely any side effects for me, just like immunity, just having to keep my immunity up. I got really bad mouth sores in the beginning, but that went away. And I had menopause for 2 weeks and then gone. And I know that is because of the cannabis, the high CBD is very balancing for our hormones, and that's a whole nother video as well. But within 2.5 months, I had been doing my own things for 2.5 months. She tells me, okay, Ibrance, and she told me how long that would give me. Faslodex, a hormone suppression, that's going to give you this long. Zoladex, another hormone suppression, that's going to give you this long. She gave me 33 months. She circled it. Now it's hilarious because my life path number is a 33 when you add up your birthday, and it's the path of the wounded healer, where we go through things so we can share our path so it can help other people. It's in my astrology, it's in my human design. Like what I'm doing now, my career and health, being completely married, it was written in the stars for me. So I said, the cannabis doctor said, do what your doctor says. This is not a joke. This is very serious. Stage 4 is real deal. Because I was like, I just want to do it all holistic. And she's like, listen to your doctor. So I was like, okay, those things, I'd be going into menopause in a decade anyways. This targeted chemo pill, it feels very not invasive. I only have to, take it 3 weeks out of the month. I don't have to go sit and be on a chemo machine. I won't lose my hair. I won't feel too bad. And so it was really like, I was like, okay, I can do this. So I said, before I start, I would love to get a scan that I can see if what I've been doing has made a difference. She's like, fine. So I get a scan. I had shrinking in every single tumor. My liver tumors were shrinking. My breast tumor was shrinking. And that is the single most important thing I've done on my journey. That has helped me not get into the mindset when my doctors she was very, very, very bullying and very controlling and very manipulative. And she would always say things like, oh, you don't know that those things are working. And I'm like, I actually do. What I don't know for sure is working is any Western meds, because I've always been doing holistic first. So I was just like, yeah, that was a whole thing. So I'd already had shrinking. So I said, I'm going to take these Western meds. So I started those. And within 18 months, all my tumors gone. I had scar tissue there. So they never said I was NED, but I said, I'm healed. I just said, I don't care. I'm going to say I'm healed because I don't have any tumors in my body. So it was a real hard sell with this woman. She did not like that I was healing on my own. Like, this is my story. She did not like that what I was doing threatened everything she knew. So it took me 3.5 years and a lot of bullying. And I finally was like, I'm done with you. I quit. And I found another doctor at UCSF, and she really met me. It was great. Through the years, different things happened. They thought I had cancer in my lungs. And I was like, no, it's not. And it turned out to be a virus, just what I knew. But they took me off the Zoladex. Then something else happened with my immunity, and they took me off the Ibrance. And I was like, great, I don't want to be on these things, but I didn't want to go off myself. So now I'm just on Faslodex. It's a hormone shot. I get it once a month. Is it working? I don't know. But do I keep taking it? Yes. Is it really affecting my health in a negative way? No. I keep my immunity up. I juice. I take lots of mushrooms. I'm still on my cannabis. I take Chinese herbs. I take some supplements. But I've moved to Mount Shasta. I've moved to the forest. I live in my dream home. I left San Francisco, the place that I thought was my forever home, not realizing it was literally killing me. The energy and the negativity and the just the concrete, like not being in nature. I had no idea how much that was affecting me. All the electronics and the Wi-Fi and the hustle and bustle. So I have transformed my entire life, and cancer has done this. I found my tribe. I found ecstatic dance. It opened up my world to different kind of plant medicines and healing modalities. I sit in teepee meetings and, work with native ways. I am so embodied with like who am I? What do I want in my life versus what is society telling me I need? I've really removed myself as much as possible from the matrix, from mainstream ways. If you come in my house, I don't have Tide detergent and Dawn dish soap and, all of these mainstream brands. I'm not using Pantene shampoo. I don't wash my hair anymore. I have a conditioning bar made of natural ingredients. I use plant toilet paper. I've changed my entire life. I eat healthy foods. I spend time in nature. I have a connection with spirit now that's not mine. I'm not stuck in a religion that's telling me how to pray or what's okay and what's not. And I just have to say, my life is amazing, and my life is beautiful, and my life is so different than it ever was. It still has challenges. I still have days that I'm like, I could just not wake up tomorrow and I'd be okay. But it's very different now, because now I'm like, I'm complete. Like, I feel good with life. I don't need to do anything else. I've done so much of my bucket list things. I've traveled around the world. I've been to Machu Picchu. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Venice, Italy. I've been to India. I'm going again this March. I have an incredible life. I help hundreds, if not thousands of people on their healing journeys. I am not here to tell you how to heal. I'm not here to tell you, oh, do this protocol. This will heal your cancer. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here to do is just share my journey of the things I've done to help inspire, to help educate, to help motivate, to help support other people, to give them hope and inspiration, and to help you become a free thinker, somebody who listens to your intuition, someone who knows that when your doctor says this thing, that you get to go home and make a decision. I don't just do what my doctor tells me at all. I do my research. I'll come to my doctor and ask questions. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, I'm curious about that. Most of the time, we're just talking about my emotional space. I think the sun keeps coming through. But excuse me, I've done things like I have my root canal removed. I personally believe that was a huge part of what was going on in my body. It was on my right side. I was having shoulder pain, my right side, my breast, my liver, all on the same meridians. I had a failed root canal. My gums, my mouth was infected. I could feel it. And the more I started doing research, it was like, this seems like this could be affecting me. And so I talked to my doctor at that time, the first bully, and she told me, no, don't get it out. You're going to have problems. You're going to have a dry socket. It's not going to heal. It's going to make things worse. I had another patient that did that, and she's doing horribly now, and da-da-da-da. I didn't listen to her. I kept doing my research, and I listened to my gut, and everything told me this is a problem. Got it out, shoulder pain gone. By time I got to my car after the surgery, a couple hours later, no more shoulder pain. I've had no problems. It's healed. It's been almost a decade. They were like, oh, it's going to cause all these problems. I didn't get a denture. There's just a hole back there. No problem. So I believe that our journey through cancer is to learn to speak up, to learn to not be people pleasers, to learn to ask questions, to learn to be our own advocate, to be a part of our healing team. I found a book called Radical Remission that changed my life right in the beginning. A client that was a photography client of mine, she was dying of stage 4 cancer. She was in her 30s, and she said, I wish I had got this book in the beginning. And it validated everything I knew, that these people had been studied, thousands of people around the world who'd had radical remissions after being told that their cancer was too far gone and they were going to die. And they went home, oh, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try that. Bringing joy in, letting go of negative things, being your own advocate, believing that you could live, having a reason to live, all these things. Only 2 of the things that people expressed that they did that helped them that were physical was diet and exercise and supplements. And it was just like, yeah, I really believe this. So again, I'm here to say you can live. I am here to say there's no one cure. There's no one right way. Do I believe we need to detox our bodies from heavy metals? Yes. Do I believe that we need to get our guts in order after, antibiotics and all the pesticides that are around us? Yes, we need to get our guts in order. We need to do parasite cleanses and get all the parasites. We all have parasites. It's a part of life. We deworm, our dogs, our horses, our cats twice a year. We actually need that too. Just bringing joy into my life, living a life of purpose. I now do retreats with people with cancer and people that want to heal and want to prevent cancer. I have people come into my home and share my daily lifestyle. They're called Weekends with Willow. I coach people, again, with and without cancer, who just want to change their lives. I say it's healing beyond tumors. It's not just getting rid of tumors. It's living a life that's actually aligned for us. I travel in my van and I go and see people with cancer and bringing them cacao and doing tarot readings and just helping them, connect with things that they might not have ever experienced. And I'm not here to say my way is the right way at all. I've coached hundreds of people that are doing all different kinds of things. And my main goal is for people to come to be the best version of themselves, where we can feel like this is why I'm here. Like this is what joy feels like in my life. This is what purpose feels like in my life. This is what passion looks like in my life. These are the things that I'm bringing to the table. And so I'm just here to say, I am almost a decade out. It's January, the end of January right now. In April, it will be 10 years since my diagnosis. And I can just say I have a 1 centimeter lump in my breast where the original lump was. I have a 1 centimeter lump in my liver. They've been there for more than a year now. And I'm just having conversations with them. I know that there's still things that they want me to do in my life that I have not done in the decade. I'm still setting boundaries. I'm still learning to speak up in, interpersonal relationships. Still navigating some, old reactive energies in myself. So I'm still healing every day. This is a life lesson. I met up with an elder friend of mine last week, and she was saying like, oh my God, I was just having like this dark night of the soul moment, over New Year's. And she was telling me how she had to work through all these things, and she had a thing with her daughter. And I was like, wow, like you're still going through it too. And, not very often, but it's a lifelong lesson of growing and healing and learning. So I'm here to say you can heal. Anything is possible. Don't let statistics tell you how you can live. 30% chance, I think, of living more than 5 years. I think I had maybe under 20. Here I am, a decade later. I've been more healthy in the past decade than in my life. I don't get sick. I didn't get COVID. I did not get vaccinated. I take care of myself. I drink good water. I get good sleep. I go in the sun. I don't use sunscreen anymore. I don't use conventional products. As I was sharing, I live a very different lifestyle than before. So if you are watching this video and you have stage 4 cancer or any other kind of chronic illness, or you're afraid of getting cancer, or you're stuck in your life and you want a different way of life, take this video as a chance as your sign. And I talk a lot about this in my videos, like listening to the signs and what the universe is really bringing to the table, and do something different. Don't wait. Don't wait to change your life. Change it today. What's your bucket list? What do you know in your life is hurting you? What do you need to cut away? What do you need to call in? How can you have more joy in your life? How can you have a job that really suits you? How can you be in a relationship that really suits you? How can you set boundaries with people that are taking advantage, that we're letting take advantage? All these things. This is the new life. If you need support, I'm here. I have a nonprofit called Branches of Hope Healing Haven. We support people in their healing journeys. So much out there to help you. So again, I am Willow Star. Thank you for watching and spending time with me. I have so many things on the burners. I am creating a cookbook. I'm creating a book that is just sharing all my little tips and tricks and hacks. I'm starting a membership program where I'll be doing live calls. I'll be doing meditations and movement practices, cacao activations, as well as having interviews with experts in the field and other thrivers. It's going to be a really beautiful community. I'm hoping to launch in April of 2026, so keep your eyes out. I'll be getting back on the road in my van this summer and a spring summer and going and visiting people who are healing cancer. And it's just, yeah, it's such a beautiful life when we get to be living in our purpose. And cancer or chronic illness or just anything that shakes you up, when we hit that rock bottom, it's like, let's do this. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. Please feel free to share my information and my story with anybody that you think could use it, because I know that things are not easy in this world right now. And sometimes we just need a little hope and inspiration and somebody else to say, you can do it. So that's what I'm here for. Much love to you guys. I would love to hear what you would like to hear more about from this story that I've shared. What interests you? What's pulling you? And I can make some more videos on that. But thanks for tuning in, and blessings on your healing. Much love to you. And remember, we're here to heal beyond the tumors.